My name is Vincent. I come from Great Yarmouth. I arrived at St Joseph's Residential School in 1966, and I stayed in this system for 5 years until I was 15 when I left.
My name is Peter. I came to Croome Court in 1964. I was here for about 2 years, and then I moved up to Bestford Court.
My name is Gordon West. I came to Croome Court at the age of 6 years old, and I stayed here until I was 13 years old.
When we first arrived, the unusual part of the routine here was we would be taken into what is called stable yard, and just the left-hand side there was an entrance that led to a big hall where we would be systematically stripped. Every child would have to take off all their clothing.
My first day was horrendous. I remember coming down the drive in a car with two fairly big-sized adults whom I didn't even know, and they had picked me up from my home. I was supposed to be going on holiday, so I thought. And as it turned out, I went on one big long holiday.
Very strange, because I felt really, really alone. Until, of course, I met all the other boys, and then obviously things changed and it was a lot better.
Yeah, there was a fun, well, you may say a fun story about a pair of shoes. I've always told my family that I wore only one pair of shoes out in all the 7 years I was here. Hence, I went and seen a nun with a hole in my shoe, and I asked for another pair, and she said, yes, you can have another pair, no problem. Kneel down there. And I thought, kneel down there? So you kneel on the floor, so I did. And I was there for rather a long time, and my knees started getting really hurting. And so I said to her, I've got to stand up. She said, if you stand up, you will be chastised. But I did stand up, and I was chastised. I was then flung a pair of shoes after being beat, and that was it. I never wore another pair of shoes out. I used my head. I would always swap a pair of shoes with other boys.
Yeah, the dormitories consisted of anything between 6 and 12 beds. Mine was 10 beds. The beds were old iron frame beds. We looked like the blankets were from the Salvation Army. We didn't have any carpet, no curtains. The clothing, we had sack shorts, grey, always cold. And we only had 2 sets of clothing, one for Sunday best and one for the week.
We wore the same shoes, same shorts, same tops. And unfortunately, the trousers were of the type of trouser that you would wear, which would scratch your legs. So you were always scratching at your legs because they made your legs itch all the time.
I had two very, very good friends, and they were twins. And something happened in the dining hall. And the next day, they were gone. They were removed from the school, as I believe. And I never seen them from that day to this.
We had 3 meals a day plus supper, which usually, supper was more of a drink of chocolate. That was it, really. The food was okay. I mean, we had 3 meals a day. We weren't really fed well. We got by. All the children were hungry regardless, but at least we had 3 meals a day and it was clean. It wasn't special, just ordinary.
I don't think it was hot meals as such, but I can't really remember. But I think it was, if I can remember, I think we used to have sandwiches and that type of thing.
Discipline for me, I think it was harsh, a lot harsher than it should have been. You would, well I would anyway, walking down the corridor, if you see a nun, you duck and dive. In other words, you try and get out of the way and get out of the way quick. Because you didn't want to slap on the head or your hair pulled or whatever they used to do to you.
One of the things about living here is you tend to gravitate to your own types of people. I had a clique of maybe 7 or 8 people that lived here with me. They all came from the care system, and other boys would have their own cliques. But the truth is, we were all one big family because we all found ourselves in a place we didn't want to be, and we had to do the best we could, and that meant we were family.
I had a few friends. I can't remember their names. I had one good friend who I would have classed as a best friend while I was here, but unfortunately he ran away and I never ever seen him again.
My legacy will help you, other people, to understand what we went through and what we do not want other children to go through. That is mainly my part of the legacy.
The purpose of the legacy is really to give people an idea what it's actually like to live in one of these places, what it really means, and to take the good and bad of the stories that people give you, and to actually take away the bad and keep the good and enhance it. But if you don't know what the problem is, you can't fix it. And if anyone can tell them the problems, people like us can do that. That's the legacy.